Hello everybody, it's your favorite foot care nurse educator, Crystal here. Today I'd like to share a condition that has a very special meaning for me because it's something that I personally experience on my own feet. There's nothing like bearing your soul to the world for the greater good of the foot care nursing profession. And that pun is absolutely intended. The condition I want to discuss today is Porokeratosis Plantaris Discreta, often shortened to PPD. I've been diagnosed with this condition, and I thought it would make a valuable case to share because it teaches an important lesson about chronic, painful plantar callus, because pressure is not always the whole story. Porokeratosis Plantaris Discreta, PPD, is a localized disorder of keratinization. So this means that the skin produces and organizes keratin abnormally, creating a dense focal plug within the sole of the foot. These lesions can become very painful because body weight and walking pressure repeatedly compress that dense keratinized area into the surrounding tissue. Many people describe the sensation as feeling as though they're walking on a small pebble, similar to other corns. In my case, PPD presents as dozens and dozens of clusters of what looks like seed corns in a trident pattern on the plantar surface of my foot, creeping up between the metatarsals, as you can see in the pictures that I am attaching to this video. Mechanical pressure still plays an important role. Pressure can increase discomfort, contribute to surrounding callus formation, and affect how quickly symptoms return. Footwear, gait, foot structure, and shear may all influence how the lesion behaves. In my case, I usually don't feel a lot of discomfort around it unless my skin gets very dry and I get a little bit of extra callus on top of it, then I start to feel the pressure. However, pressure alone does not explain how the lesion forms. The underlying condition involves an intrinsic abnormality in keratinization. This is why the lesion may continue to reoccur even when footwear has been addressed, the area has been offloaded, and the skin has been regularly maintained with emollients. This is an important point for foot care nurses. Most plantar calluses have a strong mechanical component. We assess where pressure is occurring, consider the client's footwear and foot structure, and reduce the callus and choose an appropriate offloading strategy. Sometimes, though, a lesion doesn't respond the way that we expect. It may return quickly after debridement, as in the case with my PPD. It may remain very focal and painful. It may persist despite good footwear, regular skincare, and appropriate offloading. In those cases, we need to consider whether an underlying skin condition may also be contributing. PPD is generally managed rather than permanently eliminated. Management may include regular conservative debridement, pressure redistribution, appropriate footwear, keralytic skincare, and ongoing monitoring of the lesions. For me personally, regular care helps reduce the thickness of the keratin, improving comfort to sometimes make walking less painful. Offloading can also reduce the amount of direct pressure placed on the area. The condition still returns because the underlying keratinization disorder remains present. Therefore, in my case, when this callus formation is not giving me discomfort, I really don't pay it any attention because I know if I take the effort to debride, my skin typically feels quite tender afterwards, and the callus plugs return very, very quickly within 2 weeks. And this is just really high maintenance for something that is not necessarily giving me a lot of discomfort. This condition doesn't make offloading less valuable. It makes offloading more realistic. Our goal is not always to eliminate every lesion. We're often trying to reduce pain, improve function, and slow the reoccurrence. So this distinction matters when we're setting expectations for our clients. A reoccurring lesion does not necessarily mean that the offloading failed or that the client did something wrong. It might mean that mechanical forces have been reduced while an intrinsic skin condition continues to produce abnormal keratin. The clinical lesson here is simple. Pressure explains many plantar calluses, but pressure does not explain every painful plantar keratotic lesion. Good clinical reasoning means paying attention when a lesion is behaving differently. Considering the broader picture and also recognizing when management may be a more realistic goal than a permanent resolution. And yes, as many of you probably already know, even foot care nurses need their own foot care.